This is The Scoop for Friday.
I'm Josh Holton with the WMNF News headlines. Democratic State Representative Dotie Joseph of Miami and two advocacy groups yesterday questioned Florida's response to unrest in Haiti. Joseph, the Florida Immigrant Coalition, and Family Action Network Movement issued a news release after Governor Ron DeSantis on Wednesday announced the state would increase deployments of law enforcement officers, National Guard members, and State Guard members to South Florida in anticipation of a surge of migration from Haiti. Joseph, who was born in Haiti, said in the news release, quote, rather than harass refugees who are literally fleeing for their lives, the state government can focus its law enforcement resources on making sure shipments from Florida are properly screened for illegal arms and munitions, unquote. Joseph added, quote, economically, we can work on integrating these hardworking and tax-paying migrants into our state economy at a time where employers are squealing about workforce shortages, unquote. More than 250 officers and members from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the Florida Highway Patrol, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, the Florida National Guard, and the Florida State Guard are expected to be deployed, the governor's office said. Last year was the hottest year on record. WMNF's Chris Young tells us a new report spotlights the effects of extreme heat on health, especially for disadvantaged communities.
The report, by the nonpartisan nonprofit Trust for America's Health, highlighted that episodes of extreme heat are becoming more frequent in our country.
Extreme heat is actually the leading cause of weather-related deaths in the United States.
Dr. Nadine Gracia is the president and CEO of Trust for America's Health. She says that heat has a disproportionate effect on certain groups, including communities of color and people with low income.
Some actually cannot afford to use the air conditioning during times of heat waves. So we need to address also those broader social and economic policies that ensure that people have access to those types of resources.
The report also mentions the effects of extreme heat on the elderly, homeless, and those who work outdoors. According to the Tampa Bay Times, more worker heat safety bills have been filed in Florida than any other state, but none have made it past a single committee hearing. For WMNF News, I'm Chris Young.
A proposed overhaul of State Department of Education rule could lead to changes in the way school districts report how they will provide lessons on topics such as U.S. history, the history of the Holocaust, and African American history. The proposal published Wednesday by the department would require that school districts report a required instruction implementation plan by July 1st of each year. The plans would also have to detail the methods in which instruction will be delivered for each grade level, the professional qualifications of the person delivering instruction, and a description of the materials and resources utilized to deliver such instruction. A hearing is scheduled April 17th about the proposed rule. In a court filing this week, federal prosecutors say a network of supporters has helped fugitives from Florida avoid capture to face charges stemming from the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol. Thomas Osborne is close to the family of a brother and sister from Lakeland, Florida, who remained on the run for months after they were charged with storming the Capitol. Prosecutors say siblings Jonathan and Olivia Pollock have relatives who helped them hide before FBI captured them in January. A judge freed Osborne from a Florida jail but ordered him to remain under house arrest and avoid contact with the Pollocks. A committee leading the search for a new Florida Polytechnic University president is nearing selection of finalists for the job. President Randy Avent announced last year that he plans to leave the post in July and return to the faculty after a sabbatical. Avent has been the only president of the Lakeland-based school, which opened in 2014. The 15-member Florida Polytechnic Presidential Search Committee is scheduled to meet Wednesday and Thursday next week to interview presidential candidates. A university spokeswoman said finalists will be selected from a group of candidates, and finalists selected by the search committee would go to the Florida Polytechnic Board of Trustees for consideration. The trustees' ultimate pick for the job would also need confirmation from the state university's System Board of Governors. For the weather, it's mild and clear right now in the Tampa Bay area. Highs today will be in the upper 80s, overnight lows in the upper 60s. I'm Josh Holton with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.